Yeah, what up YouTube? It's your boy Denali, back at you with another video. So for those of you guys who have been subscribed for a while, you will have known that I made a custom intake box for my K&N filter. Basically what I did was I took the stock box and I just modified it so that a K&N filter would fit inside of it, and then just have the inlet, or sorry, yeah, the outlet I guess it would be, connect to the stock piping of the intake. What I did was I ran an extra duct underneath behind the bumper, coming up inside the intake, just for a little bit of extra airflow aside from the two ram air ducts that are already on it. So what I want to do today is just go for a little bit of a cruise on the highway, sit in a little bit of traffic at a set of lights, just get an idea of how cool this is going to keep the intake temperature. I do have a OBD onboard diagnostics plug-in tool that I'm going to use to measure the temperature. The outside temperature today is about 25 degrees Celsius. Going to be doing the conversions a little later in the video. I'll put them up on the screen for you guys. So yeah, I guess we're going to jump in the car right now, take her on the highway, see what that custom intake box does. Alrighty, so we are just pulling onto the highway. It's about 24 degrees Celsius outside. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. I'll do the conversion somewhere on the screen right here. Right now our intake temperature, as you can see, I got the OBD sensor plugged in. We're gonna see how low we can get this now. Close these windows to stop this crazy vibrations here. Now as you can see, our coolant temperature is 89 degrees, quite a bit hotter than the intake temperature and outside temperature. Right now we're about 6 degrees below the outside temperature. Shift into 6th gear here, so we're not revving out as much as we need to. So pretty well about 6 degrees is where I've seen this run on the regular. Now on really cool days, I've seen it get as low as 2 degrees difference between the outside temperature and the intake temperature. Today's relatively hot compared to most days. So it wouldn't surprise me. Now we're doing about 110 allegedly. Let's pick up the pace here a little bit, see if we can suck in a little bit more cold air. So we're down to about 5 degrees difference now, which is pretty good. Now for those of you guys who watch the custom intake build, I have a pipe running from behind the bumper into the bottom of the intake, but there's also 2 ducts on the top of the intake that act kind of like a ram air. I don't know where they draw the air from, but it looks like it's almost from the front where the hood closes and touches the top of the grill. To me, to be honest, that's still, it seems like that would still draw in quite a bit of hot air from the engine bay. But the little mod that I did do to it, we're sitting at about 5 degrees difference. Oh, we just hit 29, which would have been 4 degrees difference. Just slide lanes over here. So we are in a little bit of congested traffic. It's not flowing 100%, so a lot of the cars, the exhaust and the tires like rotating, the heat from the ground, that'll also affect the differences here. You know, you have like the exhaust of all these cars coming back into the intake. You know, it's going to affect the temperature at such a large volume. But like I say, I've seen it get as low as 2 degrees difference on a very cold day. We're just going to keep driving here, see if we can get it a little bit lower. We'll get back to you guys, man. Alrighty, so the temperature is now 27 degrees. Our intake temperature is sitting at about 31. I just saw it hit 30 a couple seconds ago. The coolant temperature is at about 90 degrees Celsius. So considering that this intake, if it were a short ram intake, would be sucking in all that 90-degree air that's coming off of the engine and the header and the transmission and everything like that, I'd say that a 4-degree difference, 4 or 5 degree average. As you can see, 3 degrees now we just hit. See if we can get us. See if we can get her to hit 30 there. There you go. So there's our 2-degree difference. As you can see, 30 degrees Celsius, 27 degrees Celsius outside. So I'm pretty impressed with the way that it's performing, considering the filter I had kicking around the house. And you know, I just had to modify the box with some you know, a little bit of cutting and some JB weld. You know, cold air is good air, man. So I was fooled back in the day with the short ram intakes, thinking that I was actually making power, when in reality I was just sucking in hot air and, you know, enjoying that sound. So what I'm thinking we're gonna do is pull this beast off of the highway, you know, sit in a little bit of traffic and see exactly how quick it takes for this intake to you know, heat up to the point where, like, right now we're 2 degrees off of the outside temperature as opposed to the intake temperature, so that's pretty good. We're gonna see how long it takes for it to creep up to you know, some power loss temperatures. Alrighty, so we are just pulling off of the highway here. Nice little Corvette up there if you guys can see it. So we're just gonna see how this thing does in traffic. Now we do have a little bit of traffic. I've never thought I'd say this, but hopefully we can get stuck at a couple of lights and see how this thing goes, man. So as you can see, coolant temperature still 84 degrees. Intake temperature about 6 degrees hotter than the outside air temperature. And now we are at a dead stop. Obviously this noisy ass truck's gonna have to just stay right beside me. As you can see, 33 degrees, 8 degrees hotter. Now let's see, once we start moving, 33. Now let's see, once we get up to into second, 30 degrees and we start to cool down, sorry, 30 kilometers. And we start to cool down. So as soon as you start moving, the car is going to cool itself off. Coolant temperature obviously rising a little bit up to 91 there. Holy, we have a 4-degree difference here at 60 kilometers an hour. I am pretty impressed with how this thing's performing, given how hot it is outside. It's pretty muggy, and we're still looking at about 5 degrees difference. Now what I am going to try to do is cop on his phone there. Undercover over there. Okay, so we literally didn't hit a single light on the way home, but here we are now. Looks like this is going to be kind of a long light, so let's just see how long it takes. We're sitting at about 24 degrees outside. So this, I'm expecting this to creep up relatively quickly. It's still about only 6 degrees difference, sorry, 8 degrees difference, okay. That seems to be our norm, 8 degrees difference. Sitting at a light for about the duration that it's gonna take for the light to change. As you guys saw, I pulled up here and the light just turned red, so for the amount of time that I'm gonna be sitting at a light, it looks like my intake temperature is only gonna raise up 9 degrees. Sorry, that would make 10 degrees, my miscalculation. So to be honest, sitting at a light for the amount of time that it takes a light to change, we're probably only gonna be gaining about 10 degrees of heat in the intake temperature, which is friggin' sick, because you know, you think you pull up to a light beside somebody, oh, that makes 11 degrees difference. But you got to think, you know, like you pull up to a light beside somebody, you know, you're gonna want the coldest possible air when that light hits green. So for me to be able to sit at a light and still have, there you go, as soon as we get moving, it's back to about 6 degrees, 5 degrees difference there, sorry, 6 degrees there. So yeah, to have that intake temperature stay as close to the outside temperature as possible is going to be great. You know, just for those little pulls when you pull up to a light, or even when we're at the track, just knowing that sitting at a standstill for that amount of time isn't going to affect my performance or power too much is definitely good to know. So I'm thinking we're gonna put an end to this video before I pull up to my driveway. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you smash that like button. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, that's about it, man. So with that being said, I'm gonna sign off, man. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. We're gonna catch y'all at the next one, man. Peace.